Alright, guys. It is me, 80 Sorted, guys. Today, guys, we're predicting the world's best region, CONCACAF. And the predictions I'm going to make here, guys, there's going to be a lot of controversial takes. Many of you guys will be very surprised in what I'm saying. Some of you guys might hate me for saying this stuff. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. This is what I believe. And this should be a really, really good octagonal, guys. I'm really looking forward to this. And as a U.S. men's national team fan, I am very optimistic for this because I am very, very bullish of our chances. So before we get into the third round and all that, I want to share with you guys, let's look from the very beginning to start to finish. So let's start with the very first round. As you can see right here, guys, it was the very first round. So you can see every nation was seeded. You can see all the nations from 6th to 30th competed in the first round. The top five directly qualified for the final round. And you can see they all were seeded. And you can see they were placed in different groups. So you can see El Salvador won Group A, 10 points. Canada won Group B, 12 points. Curacao won Group C with 10 points. Group D, Panama won with 12 points. And then you can see right here, Group E, Haiti won with 9 points. And you can see Group F, St. Kitts and Nevis actually won with 9 points. Probably the biggest shock of the round, with Trinidad missing out. Right? As you can see, the second round, all the nations played in the home and away fixtures. And it was predetermined. And El Salvador won 6-0 on aggregate against St. Kitts and Nevis. Canada won 4-0 on aggregate against Haiti. And Panama won 2-1 on aggregate against Curacao. So you can see, right, guys, we have finally made to the third round. And let's go ahead and talk how this works. So basically, the top three nations directly qualify for the World Cup. The fourth place nation gets the Interconfederation playoff spot. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and be predicting from 8th to 1st. And I'm just going to make this very clear, guys. The predictions I'm making here, guys, I don't think any nations will get blown out. I think all the nations will do decently well. Because let's be real, guys. This is the best 8 nations we have in CONCACAF. So the nations that are putting in that 8th, I'm not necessarily saying they're going to be terrible. It's just that they're going to be the worst amongst the 8, right? So keep in mind, guys, that 8th place is respectable indeed. All right? So let's start with the very first nation, which I have is 8th place. And this might come as a shock to some people. Might not, and that is going to be Panama. I think for me, guys, Panama is finishing last in this, guys. I find it pretty interesting. They made it to the World Cup 2018. You can see on the previous edition, they made it to the World Cup 2018. I'll put that in the previous page. I believe they got third last time around, which was pretty impressive indeed, you know. And you can see right here in the 5th round, they did get third. Although this time around, I think things have changed a lot. I feel like Panama have regressed. Their key players hasn't really been that amazing. Panama's only qualified to one ever World Cup. And you can see right, guys, the key players. You can see, guys, I don't know, man. I just don't feel the same vibe as I did with Panama before. And remember, guys, Panama did get a new coach with their Denmark. I believe this coach is from Denmark. I want to say Thomas Christensen. You know, he's the current manager of Panama. And I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how you can see right there, guys. A lot of their players are interesting. You have Rolando Blackburn with 8 goals and 40 appearances. You can see where they have Jose Fajardo and then Casey Waterman. You know, and so yeah, as I said before, guys, I just don't feel like Panama will do that well, guys. You have Jose Calderon. You know, he's a pretty solid goalkeeper. Luis Mejia as well. He's pretty good as well. You know, it's going to be interesting to see who the first choice is going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be Luis Mejia because he's the number 1 jersey. You know, and I said it before, guys. I think for me, guys, Panama, the key thing for them is the fact they will play at home. I feel like a lot of the points, a lot of the games that they'll get, a lot of the points they'll get will be at home, and which that could be the reason why they could prevent nations to qualify. Because remember, guys, Trinidad and Tobago finished last in the World Cup qualifiers last time around, but they prevented the USA to qualify. So there's a scenario where they could play the spoiler role and prevent a nation to qualify, a big top nation, right? So yeah, man, as I said before, guys, I'm just not really impressed with the team. Jose Fajardo, Rolando Blackburn, Carlos Harvey, you know, you have Annabelle Goldie, you know, you got a lot of players that are decent, but as I said, I just don't think Panama have enough quality to really make that breakthrough. So I think they'll finish last, guys. I think they're finishing last. All right, and you can see the World Cup record, guys. The World Cup record indeed is they have only made it one World Cup, and they were the worst nation in the World Cup, according to this. So, yeah, man, I don't know, man. I just don't feel confident with their chances. I really don't. All right. So let's move on next to the next nation, which we have. It is 7th place. I have it as El Salvador. Now, for me, guys, I respect El Salvador. I think they did an incredible job, and I think Hugo Perez has done an incredible job with this national team, getting to the stage. I think the problem with this El Salvador national team is the fact that I think it's a bit too early. It's a bit too early to say they'll do this. You look at players like Joaquin Rivas, Joao Henriquez, Joshua Perez, Walker Martinez. It's a really good team. Remember, guys, they almost made that comeback against Qatar. They almost did, from 3-0 down to make it 3-2. And you can see a lot of the players play in the El Salvador league, which could be really interesting indeed. You got Alexander Moreno, Alex Roldan. It's a good team, guys. It's a good team. I just feel as though that their stride is a bit too soon. I just think that's a bit too soon to ask for them to qualify now. And I feel like once they get to that 2022 World or 2026 edition, I think a lot of the players will be at their prime. You can see a lot of their forwards they have is like some young players. You got Joshua Perez, who's young, Juan Martinez. A lot of these young players, I believe, will be able to flourish at that time. And I just think that this has come a bit too soon. I think this has come a bit too soon. And remember, guys, the USA, Mexico, Canada have already qualified by default, so they have a very solid chance in 2026. And honestly, I think if they continue this progression, I think they definitely could. But as of 2022, I think they're not making it. So 7th for me, man. I could see them maybe getting 6th and things go their way, but 7th is where I'm putting them for right now. All right. So let's move on next to the next nation which we have. It is we have the next nation which we have, and as you can see, El Salvador. Where do they make in the previous one? They finished bottom of Group A, so the 4th round. So and then El Salvador. Let's see who they eliminated. They eliminated Curacao 2-0 aggregate, and yeah. So as I said, 3rd round actually, 2nd round. They also eliminated St. Kitts and Nevis 6-3, and then you can see right here El Salvador. Did they play I don't think they play in the 1st round. Yeah, they didn't. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they do, right? So, yeah, but as I said, I don't think El Salvador are doing this. I think 7th for me is about the best I can see. 6th I have is quite possibly a very controversial prediction, and I might get a lost chick for saying this, but I think Costa Rica is finishing 6th. I just feel as though Costa Rica, man, I've just not really been impressed. I feel like this is a nation that is on the decline. They're just not the same as they used to be. And I know they have been in a mainstay in the World Cup. They have been the World Cups before. And by the way, let's go check El Salvador's World Cup record. I need to check that real quick. Gotta check that. Let's check that real quickly, guys. El Salvador World Cup record. World Cup record, where is it? They did actually make 2 World Cup appearances in 1970 and 1982, so that's interesting. So it's been a very long time since they qualified. But yeah, moving back to Costa Rica, you can see their World Cup record has been pretty solid indeed, guys. They've actually been in many World Cups. You can see they've actually been in 5 of the 21 World Cups, which is really impressive. Obviously, that 2014 run was the best run they've ever had in their World Cup history. And I just feel as though that even though this Costa Rica team has been a mainstay in the World Cup, they've qualified for many World Cups before, I just don't really believe they'll do it this time. They have Keylor Navas in goal, who is, in my opinion, a very, very important player to this team. Because I'm telling you this right now, guys, if Keylor Navas didn't play, I think Costa Rica have eliminated any chance to make the World Cup, right? You can see a lot of the players are aging. You can see Jonathan Moya, Joel Campbell. Joel Campbell has been pretty good, a player to look out for. You have Brian Ruiz. You have Salvador Borgas. You can see how they're aging. Their key players are aging. You can see how Brian Ruiz is 36 years old, and Celso Borgas is 33 years old. You can see how much experience these players have had. And you can see Gonzalez, 33 years old. And I'm telling you this right now, guys. You can't really qualify for a World Cup with so many veterans. It's difficult to really do so. Of course, there are some young talent that are still there. Obviously, you have Manfred Yugda. You obviously have Jurgens Montagano, Kenneth Vargas. You have some decent players in there. You have Randall Lee. But as I was saying before, guys, I just believe Costa Rica, man, they just haven't been impressive. I wasn't impressed with them at the Gold Cup. They were largely underwhelming against Canada. they were toothless against Canada. I was not impressed with their performances against the Gold Cup. And let's be real, guys. Let's be real. They were very fortunate to have won against Jamaica. That they had to come from behind against Suriname to get that victory. And I know they have put their B team there. I know it wasn't really their main team, but still, man, I've just not really been impressed with them. And they even lost to Honduras on penalties, which I thought was quite shocking, honestly. And I just haven't really been impressed with Costa Rica. You can see they haven't really done particularly too well. They've lost a lot of games and drawn a lot of games. They've had it won. The only wins came in the Gold Cup, and let's be real, in the group, which, yeah, I don't know. I just don't believe they've been that great, if I'm being honest. Like, I really believe they've been very, very poor ever since the World Cup. And I'm telling this right now, guys, I don't think they'll do well. I don't think they'll do that well. And I see them getting 6, guys. So that's going to be interesting. You can see their Costa Rica, their performances. They got second in the octagonal hex in the 2014 edition. And they actually did come third in the 2010 edition as well. 2006 edition. And then they actually topped in 2002, which is interesting. And yeah, but as I said, I just really believe they're on the decline, 1990 as well. So yeah, I think Costa Rica, they're not making the World Cup. They're not making the World Cup. All right. Now, 5th place, guys. This is another controversial take I have. And many people might get mad at me, especially some people in particular, and that is Jamaica. Jamaica. Let's talk about Jamaica, man. Jamaica, in my opinion, might be the most disappointing nation. Because I'm telling this right now, guys. I want to put Jamaica in the World Cup. I want to see them in the World Cup. But what I've seen with Jamaica and what I've seen with this coach and all this whole thing, Theodore Whitmore, I just haven't been impressed. I haven't been impressed with Jamaica whatsoever. And this is a national team that has shown a lot of potential. There is a lot of potential on the rise. You can see they have qualified to one World Cup ever, 1998. And there's a lot of potential. It's just that they just find ways to be very disappointing, And I just feel as though that there's always these external issues. There's always these off the field issues with Jamaica. There's always selection issue. There's always political issues and it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't feel the vibes, And for me, to qualify for a World Cup, you can't have these kind of internal issues. You have to be 100% focused, right? Because when you have those kind of issues looming in the background, that means there's a bigger issue going on, and there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubt. And I feel like a lot of these players don't really play well for the national team. Like, for example, like Leon Bailey in particular, I just haven't really been impressed with him. You can see he's only got 10 appearances, 1 goal. That's very, very poor. I know he's very young still, 24 years old, but still he's been doing very well for Bayer Leverkusen, yet he hasn't been able to hit that stride for Jamaica, And then you have Junior Flemings, Then you have Mikel Antonio, who's just got captized. He's now selected to play for Jamaica now after switching to Jamaica after representing England. You have Jamal Lowe, you have Javon East, Shamar Nicholson, who's been missing a lot of chances, And then I know they have a very good goalkeeper, Andre Blake, who's been incredible. He's a very good goalkeeper, obviously. And then you obviously have Kemar Lawrence. You obviously have Leon Moore, You have Damian Lowe. You have Ravel Morrison, I just don't believe this Jamaican national team will do it. I really don't believe so. I want to be proven wrong. I want them to qualify. In fact, I actually would have put them in the qualification. But it's just that, as I said, I just don't feel like... I feel like there's a lot of potential, but they'll find ways to disappoint. They'll find ways to disappoint in the most inexplicable manners. And I see Jamaica getting 6th. Jamaica getting 5th. Which, in my opinion, is a disappointment. Because Jamaica should be good enough to get top 4. And if they can't even get top 4, I don't know what else to say, because, this is a sad opportunity, and I think they have a very, very good chance. All right. So moving on to 4th place. 4th place I have is quite possibly a dark horse kind of pick, and that is Honduras. I think Honduras, for me, is a national team you cannot disrespect. This is the national team, in my opinion, that I think is a very, very good national team indeed. They have some incredible players. They have Luis Lopez, who's a very good goalkeeper. You have Manuel Figueroa, who's the captain of the team, 38 years old, very, very old indeed. They have Romel Coutinho. You have Eddie Hernandez. You have Anthony Lozano. It's a really good team, guys. It's a really good team indeed, And I just think for me, guys, Honduras, the fact that they've done well, And remember, guys, this is always a national team is always on the cusp of qualifying, right? You can see in the 2014 World Cup, they actually made it 3rd, right? In the 2018 edition, they actually managed to get 4th in the playoffs. I believe they ended up eventually losing to Australia. You can see right there they lost to Australia. So I just feel like for me, Honduras, man, it's a national team with promise, and I think they could definitely do something here. You can see the World Cup record right here. What is a World Cup record? They made it 3 World Cups. And I think for me, this is going to be interesting to see how they do. I'm really curious to see how they'll do. Kevin Araga as well. Brian Acosta as well. It's going to be interesting how he does. Jonathan Lovani, Felix Crescento. And I just feel like for me, Honduras, man, I feel like they could do something special. And this is a national team you cannot write off. I feel like they are a team that is easy to look past, and I feel like they could do something well. And remember, they did make it to the quarterfinals, which they eventually, I know they ended up losing very badly to Mexico 3-0, but I believe they had some key players missing. And remember, guys, they didn't play their strongest team ever, And remember, guys, they made a very good work, and they made USA win at the very death of the game. So I think they'll do it. I think they'll get 4th, guys. This might come as a very interesting pick. I might regret this, but I'm going to say they get 4th, guys. I remember, guys, they had a big game against Panama, which they ended up just about winning, guys. So, Moving on to the next one. In 3rd place, guys, I have made my mind, guys. I have decided, guys. And this is the national team that I was a bit skeptical with. Prior to the whole 3rd round, I was a bit skeptical on Canada's hopes of qualifying. But now, guys, I have been convinced with Canada. I think Canada, guys, they are qualifying for the World Cup. I think Canada is making the World Cup. I have been convinced with this national team. They have had some great, great players indeed. You have Milan Borjan. You have Alphonso Davies. You have Jonathan David. You have Carl Lauren, Lucas Cavallini. You look at Jonathan Davis' record in particular. 15 goals and 16 appearances. That is almost a goal-to-game ratio. That is an incredible ratio to have. And what a ratio that is. It's almost a perfect ratio. Then you have Simo Pasuri. You have Estokio, a very good player indeed. I was really impressed with him in the Gold Cup. Then you obviously have another player that I thought was really, really good. Caramel Miller. I thought he was pretty good in the Gold Cup. Buchanan as well. I thought he was really good as well. I was really impressed with him. And it just feels as though, guys, this Canadian national team, they mean business, man. They mean business indeed, guys. And I think they're going to do it, guys. I think they're going to actually qualify for the World Cup, guys. And if they could qualify for the World Cup, guys, it would be an incredible, incredible achievement indeed. And I'm really excited for this Canadian men's national team, And remember, guys, this is a national team that I think could do something special. Remember, and so you got Steven Vittoria as well. It's a really good team, guys. A really good team indeed. And in fact, their World Cup record, guys, you can see right, guys, they've only made it to 1 World Cup ever in their history, which was the 1986 edition. So let me see if they've actually shown the their 1986 thing, the qualification. So let's see. Let's just look upon it real quickly. Came again. All right. So 1986. Where does it say? Yeah, Canada impressed defensively in the first game against France. Okay, only conceded. Okay, I want to see what was the. Oh, I see. Okay, guys, now I understand now. Because they won the Gold Cup, I think, is the reason why they secured the World Cup finals. They made it to the World Cup because of the fact they won the Gold Cup, and they won the Gold Cup like around 1985-ish. Like, let's see, right? Gold Cup 1985, yes. Because they won the Gold Cup, guys, they qualified to the World Cup. Wow, that makes a lot of sense, guys. That makes a lot of sense indeed. So yeah, let's just look at the qualification. Let me just see. Let me just verify real quick before I speak upon this. All right, so you can see Canada qualified. Okay, one of them went to automatic qualifier, while the other, okay, I see. So, yeah, one of them went to automatic qualifier in Mexico, while the other, okay, was contested by 17 teams. Okay, that's interesting, right? So, yeah, man, overall, man, I just feel like for me, guys, this Canadian national team, man, they're just on the rise. And I think they'll make their second ever World Cup, guys, in their history, guys. And I think they'll do it, guys. The problem with Canada, the biggest thing I think with Canada is that can they get the results away from them? That's pretty much my only concern with them. The Central America regions. But other than that, I think they'll be fairly solid. Moving on to second place, runners up, guys. It is Mexico, guys. Mexico, guys. And this is another one I'm a bit surprised with. I'm not surprised. I originally had Mexico qualifying, but I had them actually topping this. But now I've actually changed my mind and decided to put them second, right? So let's look at the World Cup record, guys. The World Cup record indeed is very respectable. They made it to 16 of the 21 World Cups, guys. That is a very, very solid record indeed. They have made it to furthest they made was a quarterfinal finish in 1986 and 1970. Can they finally get past the Quinto Partido? We'll see, guys. We'll see. And this Mexico national team is a really good national team indeed, right? But I do believe they haven't. I believe they've had a good year this year. This year has been a very horrible year for Mexico. The fact that they lost the Nations League and the Gold Cup to the rivals, and they also failed to win the Olympics. Is this a sign of things to come, right? And remember, guys, right? Tata Martino didn't have Raul Jimenez. And I know some Mexican fans would have said that if Raul Jimenez had played, maybe they would have won the Gold Cup in the Nations League, which is potentially true. You can make the argument. But remember, guys, Raul Jimenez is getting back to fitness. He's got into the team right now. And I feel like selection is probably the biggest issue in Mexico right now. Because you look at the players they have, Raul Jimenez, Jesus Corona, you also have Jonathan Dos Santos, Edson Alvarez, you have Nestor Araujo, you have Jorge Sanchez, you have Jesus Gallardo, you have Guillermo Ochoa, I just feel like the problem with this Mexican national team is that a lot of the players are aging. And similar to what I said for Costa Rica, in that they still have some great players, though. I still do think they have some great players. Andres Guardado, it's still a good national team, and I do expect them to qualify. But I don't think it will be as comfortable as I would have originally thought, because originally, guys, I would have said Mexico would go undefeated. But after seeing how they've done this year, guys, and after their performances, guys, I haven't really been that impressed with them. It would be a crime for them to not make the World Cup. They're gonna make the World Cup, guys. I just don't believe they'll do as well as the qualifiers as I originally thought. And I feel like this Mexican national team, they're going to labor to score goals. I believe, for me, it's going to be a difficulty for them to score goals. And I still don't know if Raul Jimenez will be back to his optimum match fitness. Because remember, guys, he is coming after a very long injury, guys, to his concussion, I think. And it's going to take him a while to adapt, man. He's going to be very, very careful with this. I don't think he's going to go for those headers as he usually did in the past, because obviously he's very well aware of it. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Mexico do. I do still expect them to qualify. But as I said before, guys, is this Mexican national team in the decline? I don't know, man, because I really do believe they're kind of on the decline right now, guys. I think right now they're going to need a new, fresh overhaul of new players, guys, because as I said before, guys, this should be good enough for 2022. But if they really are serious about making the quarterfinals and that kind of stretch and being that CONCACAF kings as they once were, they're going to have an overhaul of the national team, in my opinion. They're going to have bring in a huge a horde of new talents, because as I said before, guys, there isn't that much Mexican talents I've been really, really impressed with. Maybe like Chucky Lozano, not Chucky Lozano, but he might be the only one, and maybe some other players. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. If I'm being honest, like Hervey Lozano, but even he's not really that young. He's like 26. So I don't know, man. If you're Mexican, let me know what you feel in the comment section below. But yeah, man, I think Mexico will qualify, but I don't think they'll do as well as I originally had them doing before. All right. So let's move on to the kings of the CONCACAF, and that is the United States men's national team. Now, before I begin the U.S. men's national team, I just want to say this right now, guys, that if the USA manages to miss out on the World Cup, I'm going to be so mad. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do, guys. Like, let me just say this right now. If we fail to make the World Cup, guys, I might just give up on USA. I might just give up as a USA as a whole, and I might just give up on the sport. Because really, in all honesty, this is our thing to lose. Like, we are the best nation in CONCACAF right now. There is no argument whatsoever. And for me, guys, I think what Greg Berhalter has done with this national team has been insane. The fact that he's made this national team into the players they have been is incredible. and I'm looking at this national team in particular. They have had some great stuff. So before we go on further, let's go ahead and look at the World Cup record. So we've actually been in 10 of the 23 World Cups, which is actually pretty good. Our best finish was the semifinals of the very first edition, 1930s. A lot of people probably don't know about that. But yes, guys, we made it to the semifinals before. Obviously, that was the first World Cup, and I believe there were only like 4 nations, I think. So, still not the best achievement, but still, 3 is still good, right? 3rd is still good out of 4, right? But anyways, back to what I was saying, and for me, guys, I think this U.S. men's national team, there is something on the special. There's something on the rise. And I do believe this core group of players that we have is something special indeed, And I did a squad in-depth analysis of that. So if you guys want it, I didn't really do analysis, but I give you guys my reaction to it last weekend. So I'll go, obviously I won't go as in-depth as I did in that video, but obviously I still want to talk about it. And I just feel like for me, guys, this is a great core group of players that Greg Welcher's made. And I just think for me, guys, the U.S., there's something special. There is something special. I think Greg Welcher's finally understanding how the team works. He's finally understanding how the players are. And I just feel as though this is a great chance for us to prove our critics wrong. And what will be amazing, guys? Not only do we top the World Cup qualifier group, we go unbeaten. Now, I don't think we'll go unbeaten, as good as an achievement that would be. And that might be a bit far-fetched, and I might be a bit deluded for saying that, but I don't think we're going. I don't think we're topping. I think that's a bit of a stretch, right? But I do believe that we're gonna. I do believe we're gonna get first. I just feel like for me, this U.S. men's national team, there is something special. Our goalkeepers have been really impressed with. The only concern I have with this U.S. men's national team is I just don't know about the striker. The striker position for me is the biggest concern with this national team, because I don't really trust Josh Sargent, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really know if I can trust Ricardo Pepe. He's a decent player from what I saw in the MLS, the record he had. And I don't know if Jordan Sabathier can be our main striker. Like, we're going to need someone to be that main striker for us. And I feel like our goal scoring could be the big issue here. Because as I said before, guys, you need a top-class striker. And we don't really have, anyone of top class on that note. So, yeah, man, as I said, I think this will be a really good test for the U.S. men's national team. And I do believe that we will qualify. For us to not qualify would be very embarrassing indeed. And yeah, man, I'm just been impressed. Some players, just to keep this brief, guys, I want to talk about players that that I think are very important for the U.S. Obviously, you have Christian Pulisic, who's been very important indeed. He is the best U.S. men's national team player, in my opinion, that is right now. Then you have Gino Reyna, who's been very critical for the team. You have Weston McKennie, who is amazing. You have Tyler Adams, John Brooks, Miles Robinson had a really good Gold Cup. Matt Turner has been amazing in goal. Had a solid Gold Cup, guys. And then you have Zach Steffen, DeAndre Yedlin, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson, Sergio Dest. There's a hordes of so much talent in this U.S. men's national team. And I can finally feel confident in saying that we can actually do this, guys. And remember, guys, I believe this is a very young crop of players. The only player that is really old, that's 30 plus, is Tim Ream. That's it, guys. Every other player is 30 and below, which in my opinion is very good. And I just feel like I'm very confident, guys. I'm very confident indeed. And I think we will make the World Cup, guys. So I want you guys to comment down below your predictions, guys. I want you guys to specifically tell me about the 3rd and 4th place nation, because that's what I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts about. Because I know most of you guys will probably pick the same 2 nations for top 2. And so, yeah, guys, if you guys can also comment down below all the nations if you guys want. I just want you guys to comment at least the 3rd and 4th, because that's what I'm really interested in knowing. So I want you guys to comment down below that. So remember, guys, comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my description below my Twitter, Discord, and my email, guys. I do a lot of other content for the World Cup, guys. I made content for the 8. I made content for the other World Cup qualifiers, guys. I cover a lot of different things on my channel. So if you're really interested in football and you just love football in general, check out my channel. I'm trying to cover almost everything that. Almost anything in football, that is. So, there's pretty much that. So, yeah, I'm probably going to ramble, right? But you guys get the point. So, hope you guys are enjoying the video, guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.